This Week in Richmond is made possible in part by Dignity Memorial, caring for our communities with a network of funeral homes and cemeteries in Virginia and throughout North America. More information about Dignity Memorial's providers is online at dignitymemorial.com. Alpha Natural Resources, an energy company dedicated to respecting the land. Alpha Natural Resources, we power the world through the energy of our people. Haley Buick GMC, the place for a new Verano or Terrain Denali, in Richmond and online at haleybuickgmc.com. Everywhere there are lighting poles, there's one more opportunity to save money. Intelligent Illuminations provides cost-effective wireless lighting solutions for roadway or area outdoor lights. Kanawha Valley Arena, Virginia's cowboy town, hosting an array of events from Civil War reenactments to diesel truck pulls. More information online at virginiarodeo.com. The Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the voice of the Virginia business community, working in legislative, regulatory, and political arenas to promote the free enterprise system. So what do you do? Information about getting involved in advanced technology careers, making everything from clean energy to life-saving medicine, is available at dreamitdoitvirginia.com. Additional support is provided by these sponsors. And by the members of Virginia's public television stations. Thank you.
Welcome to This Week in Richmond, and welcome back to two friends who've been on This Week in Richmond before. We thank you for coming back. David Johnson, the Director of the Department of Conservation and Recreation. Joe Elton, Director of the Virginia State Parks. So we're delighted to have you all here. We're going to start with some conversation with the mountain man who has on some mountain climbing clothes today, because the last time our viewers saw you, it was shortly after you had climbed Pikes Peak, and we talked some about that, plus about what the department's doing. So we've got some pictures today, but you might want to make some comments before we lead into the pictures. But we want to show our viewers where you have been and what heights you have ascended to.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to talk about this. This was a personal challenge that I was really looking forward to undertaking. One of the things that in particular is that I just turned 60 this year, and I was actually just tired of hearing my peers talk about how they were too old to do things, and I wanted to disprove that, at least for myself. So, so in the second half of December, went to Tanzania, and my daughter and I, who lives in Alaska, joined me there, and we climbed and summited Kilimanjaro. Summited on the 6th day, and it was the hardest thing we've ever done in our lives, but it was also very exhilarating. It's a great story. It was a lot of things to tell about it. In addition to the climb, we did a 5-day safari, saw all the animals you can imagine, and got to see what a third world country was all about too.
Well, I think the Department of Recreation, if we focus on that recreation part, this is very fitting, very fitting. And you were telling us while we were getting ready that these were sort of the clothes that you wore on the beginning days until you got to where it was so cold.
Yeah, these are synthetics because you don't want to wear cotton. And you know, the hiking boots and things like that. It is Africa. It's equatorial, but still, you got altitudes, and then at night it's pretty chilly. And then when you get into the higher altitudes, it's actually really cold, and so you had to be prepared. And you know, as when you see a picture about summit night, you are dressed to the max.
You mentioned pictures, so let's see some of the pictures that you brought with us, and you give us some commentary as the pictures come up on the screen. So let's call up the first picture, and we'll get you to tell us what we're looking at.
Okay, that'd be fine. Just as this is our group. We're in Moshi, Tanzania. You can see there's 7 of us, 3 women and 3 boys, guys. The gal in the yellow is my daughter, and this is the shirt. You can see the shirt that's right there. The 2 to the right are French. The gal next to my daughter is Malaysian, and the other 2, the lady is she's British, and this guy kneeling down is South African. So that was our hiking group, and the support group for that was 16 porters, 2 cooks, and 3 guides.
Wow.
This is right at the beginning of the hike. This is the first day. You can see the vegetation is lush, the temperatures are nice. It's a nice day to hike. Next. This would be like the second day, and you can already tell that the vegetation is receding, but it's still well-defined trails, and temperatures are reasonable. No real issues. We're probably at about 11,000 feet there. Next. Now we're getting on to day 3. You can see that the vegetation is mostly receded, except for these unusual cactuses. And
that's interesting.
It is. I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. And but this is it's starting to get a bit strenuous, and those who might be susceptible to altitude sickness, we started to see it show up around this time. Next. Now this is one of the real interesting ones. It's called the Great Barranco Wall. It's a 1,000-foot sheer rock wall, and you have to climb it. And the lead one in this case is my daughter, and the guy to the far left is the lead guide. And what he's doing is making sure that she puts her feet in the right place and the hands in the right place. And we all are scrambling up this 1,000-foot wall on about a 45-degree angle, and is very, very, very little bit of a path, and mostly is sort of like rock climbing. It's pretty exhilarating, and if you look down to the left, you can see where we came from. This is a camp. The thing to show there is the fact that the camps are, it's rocky, okay, and it gets more rocky, and they pitch the tents, and you live there. The tent there in the middle is our dining tent where we all gathered for the breakfast and dinner, and that just shows that. Next. That's just a picture. It may be hard to see, but if you really look hard, there's some very tiny colors on that trail just to the left. Those are people. The distances here are vast, and I'm pointing in the direction of where we're going to our next camp on our way towards the final camp. But also you can see that I'm now wearing a little bit heavier gloves or things like that because it's starting to get cooler. But the vegetation is practically gone. Next. Again, the vastness of territory. You can see basically this kind of trail, and once again there are people in that picture. It's just that they're hard to see. You might pick out the colors. The distances are so vast. This is a little bit easier to see. This is our a camp that Karanga, that we were not quite the next to last camp, but the one before the summit. Again, very rocky, but this is around 13,000 feet. Next. This is the final approach to our camp before the assault. This is
assault.
Yeah, to the summit. Yes.
The assault of the summit.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And this
I heard that.
This is you can see the porters carrying things on their heads, and they're going up to that far left is where the Barafu Hut camp is. And that's the campsite. No, that's not. That's Karanga. That's the again where we would that's where we left from on the way. Next. Now, we started the summit assault just after midnight, so you really didn't have any pictures. And this is a picture of the final approach to the summit, and the sun has just come up, so we could finally take a picture. You can see how heavily dressed we are. Face coverings, a lot of head coverings. I was wearing 6 layers and still getting cold. There's a frozen dust over all the rocks, and it's really very stark. It's some strong winds, and probably temperatures approaching 0. Real tough. This is our summit picture. This is our group, and
Everyone in the group still there?
the 2 French ones had actually gone ahead of us, and they had already summited. They were getting particularly cold, so they got up there first and then left. But this is the rest of us, along with the guides. That sign says, you're at the Huruhu Peak, and which is the highest peak in Africa and highest freestanding mountain in the world. That flag is the Malaysian flag, which is one of the ladies was from. But that was a very proud moment. This is a couple you'll see a couple pictures standing at the summit, looking out. It's stark. It's just rocky and nothing remarkable except that it's so big. And again, this is looking back at the trail that we had come from, and it's just rocky, stark trail. And then this is the way down. It's very steep on the way down. But at this point, we're all anxious to get down to warmer temperatures, more oxygen, and soil instead of rock. Again, this is another trail picture on the way down. It's particularly challenging to soft tissues for this trail down. And next, and this is we're at our final camp before being picked up. This is all of our group, all the porters, the guides, the hikers, the cooks. It's everybody, and we're very proud to be all together. And that was it.
So, total number of days up and down?
So we summited on the 6th day, and on that same 6th day, you turn around and hike about 7 more hours after summiting, and so it's a long day. And then the next day, you do another 4 hours, and that's it.
You're back.
You're back.
All right.
It was cool.
Yes. So we have places in Virginia where people do hiking, but those are all just 1-day hiking times, aren't they? I mean,
Sure.
The peaks, maybe
We're restricted to 1 mile high.
Yeah, the highest peak in Virginia is Mount Rogers, about 5,700 feet, and that's a day hike. But it's a nice one. It's a good hike.
one of the state parks there.
Grayson
Highlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good one with some others in the Shenandoah National Park. There's some challenges, but it doesn't have the same altitude issues.
Right.
Mountain sickness.
That's the hike where you might see some. Are they ponies?
Ponies.
Small
Yep,
horses.
wild
or,
ponies. Yeah.
Yep, I did see them when I did it in August.
Yeah. Kind of a warm up.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
I have been at Grayson Highlands State Park in April when it was 17 below 0 with the wind chill factor. So you get up a mile high, you can get some good cool temperatures as well.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, Director Johnson, what's next for you after Pikes Peak and after this ascending to this high mountain? We know that you certainly promote conservation and recreation in Virginia, but for you, what do you see as the next big challenge?
Well, personally, I like to do a variety of things. I mean, I think I've talked to you, alongside have done some caves that we have.
That's right.
In our National Heritage programs. That's been fun and challenging in its own way. I just enjoy a variety of things that sort of challenge you, physical and also some mental way, and it's really good. There's some mountains on the radar screen that I'd like to try, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next couple of years.
Well, for all of us 60 and older, we thank you for doing this for us as well as for you. And I think as our viewers looked at those pictures that you had, you were probably the only one who had reached 60 who was in that group that you were in.
Oh, I was the oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the the Malaysian woman was 40, and then the rest were in their 20s and early 30s. But yeah, but the good news was I summited right there with all of them. So but it was not without its challenges.
Yes, yes. Well, let's talk more about in Virginia, about our state parks. You've mentioned the one out in Grayson Highlands and other parks, and then we have a clip that we want to show too about something unique happening at a park that's right here near Richmond, in Central Virginia,
within 20 miles of the capital.
Yes.
At Pocahontas State Park. Well, you know, let me start with there's beautiful, lush terrain throughout the entire Commonwealth, so it is very, you know, our parks are in landscapes that are very scenic, to be sure. We're at sea level you know, in Virginia Beach, at False Cape and First Landing State Parks, and on the Eastern Shore at Kiptopeke State Park. And then, as David says, to as high as over 5,000 feet. We're blessed in Virginia to have wonderful parks, 36 of them, located throughout the Commonwealth on all the major rivers, the major lakes, in the Blue Ridge and the Allegheny Highlands, all the way out to Cumberland Gap. We've got Wilderness Road State Park in Lee County, and then we've got parks right at the doorstep of the nation's capital in Northern Virginia. So we're blessed with a great collection of parks, and David has been promoting you know, the hiking and mountain climbing aspect of it, but really we're really a door to hiking, biking, horseback riding, paddling, fishing, hunting, bird and wildlife watching. You name it in the outdoors. I like to say our parks are places where we find therapy for the mind, body, and spirit. And I think, really, I think if we all made outdoor recreation and particularly park visits part of our healthy lifestyle, would be healthier for it. And so I commend David for being an advocate for the outdoors in that regard. Some of his adventures have really helped highlight. He didn't tell you about the rib that he cracked in a cave in Western Virginia. I think
Front Royal area.
Front Royal area, yeah. So we've got beautiful parks, and this is a great time of the year to be out in the parks. We have very wonderful weather this weekend, and it looks like it's going to hold through for the next few weeks, so over the holidays. I want to enlist you, David, and you as well, and all the viewers. We are having a very good year, visitation-wise, in Virginia State Parks, despite the fact that June and July were unbelievably wet. I think we set some records for rainfall in June and July. But if we have good turnout in November and December, we will probably top 8.4 million visits this year. So help us get out there and visit the parks, and help us make that record year.
Well, and let's show a clip. We want to make sure we get this clip in that's at Pocahontas State Park.
Pocahontas State Park.
Something that's happening. So when the clip is ready, we'll get it up on the screen, and we'll hear you talking on that clip.
Okay, very good. We have mountain biking at Pocahontas State Park.
Here we go.
But this video will show you that we have some big plans for mountain biking in the future. Thank you. Well, what we're about to do here is build one of the world's 12 leading ride centers, which means that this will be a mountain biking destination unlike almost anything else in the world. And we're so excited to be able to partner with Richmond and Chesterfield counties to make this happen. One of the fastest growing segments of the outdoor industry is mountain biking, and so we know that this is going to be something that's going to be loved by people from all over the country, and I think we'll see visitors not only from the United States of America, but from all across the world.
This announcement for the IMBA Ride Center is one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, to hit our area as far as mountain biking goes. You know, people know that there are only a few of these ride centers in the country. It's huge for local people like myself who enjoy riding because it's going to add trail to our area. And any avid mountain biker wants a new trail. They want more challenging trail. But in a bigger picture sense, it's really going to bolster the community.
The study that we did for this proposed bike center used data from the Virginia Creeper Trail in Southwest Virginia, ridership there. So these are hard numbers and probably inherently conservative as a result. What that analysis shows is that the likely economic impact of the proposed center would be about $2.7 million per year for Chesterfield County, about $4.5 million for the state as a whole.
The community has accepted mountain biking as a true partner in this. So we look at the full spectrum of, do you have those advanced trails that people want to see? And do you have the after ride places? Do you have the bars that are set up to accept mountain biking? You know, is there a good food place? Is there a bike shop that can tell you how to get to the next place? Those are all the things that we look at, and yeah, Richmond's got that in spades.
With the 40 miles of trails that the city has and the additional 40 that are in Chesterfield County or being installed in Chesterfield, that creates a long length for people to come and explore, and it's more than one person could do in a single day. And so we've created an amenity that people could come for a weekend or maybe even a week. The other thing that I think is important to recognize is the diversity of trails. The fact that we do have beginner trails, areas for people to learn, but we go all the way up to advanced trails, and you have such beautiful context in which to bike.
Mountain biking in particular, they're a unique user group. Not only are they willing to come out and do the work, put in the sweat equity that's necessary to make the trails better, to maintain the trails and keep them up to the International Mountain Biking Association standard, but they're also willing to put their money where their mouth is. It's such a unique user group in that way that they're willing to not only go out there and do the work, but they're willing to step up to the plate and put forth their money.
We are a pretty interesting group as far as we're hands-on, and we like to get out there and dig in the dirt and also raise the funds and do what it takes to make it happen. So that's a great thing, I think, that you're really seeing unfold in the last year, especially coming around with this Richmond Region Ride Center.
We really need a broad base of support to raise the funds. We need a couple $1 million probably to really do this the way we want to do it. And I think the incentive is there because we know it's going to be dynamic for the community. We know that mountain bikers are going to love it. And I think for so many people, this is really going to put Richmond in the region on the map in a way that it doesn't exist today.
The corporations, and many have already jumped in, many more will see the opportunity. When they realize that creating this kind of lifestyle in the region becomes a magnet for the kind of quality, young and professional employees that they want to attract to work in their businesses, then it makes sense for them to get on. They're going to see a return on investment.
Joe, I've got to thank you for bringing that along so our viewers could see it. And I think that right away, let's tell them where they need to go sign up on your website to get information.
Oh, first of all, www.virginiastateparks, all one word, .gov will get you to our department's website. And I would urge people to go there and click on the link to our e-newsletter. And every Thursday, our e-newsletter is pushed out and tells people about all the different things going on, calendar of events and so forth. So it's a great way to stay in touch with what's going on in Virginia State Parks.
And probably when they're on that site, then they can also find the state parks where there's overnight accommodations as well as recreation.
Absolutely.
And as you said, from the seashore to the mountains.
1,800 campsites, 260 overnight cabins. We have 1.1 million overnight visits last year. So a lot of people spend the evening in the Virginia State Parks.
Oh, that's a tremendous number, and it's a real testimony to what we've done in conservation, recreation, and the parks that we have here in the state.
Well, Virginia's trying to capitalize on outdoor recreation and tourism spending, and our parks are part of that equation, and we certainly feel like we've got something to showcase. Virginia is such a beautiful state.
Well, it certainly is. It doesn't have that peak that you climbed, but it has its own unique features and its own beauty.
A lot of great stuff.
Yes, yes. Well, I really appreciate the two of you coming on this week in Richmond, and we know our viewers are going to enjoy that scenic tour that you gave them of those 7 days, 6 up and then a day and a half back down, and the tour around the state and the biking right here at Pocahontas State Park.
One of the best mountain biking experiences in the world will be right here in Richmond.
We thank our viewers, and we'll be back with you weekly as the 2014 General Assembly session is just around the corner.
This Week in Richmond is made possible in part by Dignity Memorial, caring for our communities with a network of funeral homes and cemeteries in Virginia and throughout North America. More information about Dignity Memorial's providers is online at dignitymemorial.com. Alpha Natural Resources, an energy company dedicated to respecting the land. Alpha Natural Resources, we power the world through the energy of our people. Haley Buick GMC, the place for a new Verano or Terrain Denali, in Richmond and online at haleybuickgmc.com. Everywhere there are lighting poles, there's one more opportunity to save money. Intelligent Illuminations provides cost-effective wireless lighting solutions for roadway or area outdoor lights. Kanawha Valley Arena, Virginia's cowboy town, hosting an array of events from Civil War reenactments to diesel truck pulls. More information online at virginiarodeo.com. The Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the voice of the Virginia business community, working in legislative, regulatory, and political arenas to promote the free enterprise system. So what do you do? Information about getting involved in advanced technology careers, making everything from clean energy to life-saving medicine, is available at dreamitdoitvirginia.com. Additional support is provided by these sponsors. And by the members of Virginia's public television stations. Thank you.